Warning, warning. Two idiots are reading the SCP files over the intercoms. Hello, and welcome back to a very special episode of Discovering SCP.
Is it finally happening?
Sometimes drugs, your peers can sometimes think that taking drugs, drinking underage can be cool. And you know what? It is a little bit, but you'll go to prison for it.
It's a little bit.
And that's not worth it, because in prison, you'll die. And that's why we're here.
In prison.
And that's why we're here for a very special episode of Discovering SCP. It is finally time. We are on episode 91. It is time to delay Spikebrennan. No, I'm kidding. It's time for the
That'd be so
Spikebrennan
funny.
episodes.
Some people think we should push it to 100 if we didn't already have like episode 100 plans. I think that would be funny.
But no, I promised, and I've already broke the promise once. I can't do it twice. So we are here for the Spikebrennan episode. It's time for 1, 2 SCPs.
I am so excited.
Do you have anything to say? How's life been going for you?
I had someone tell me I fell off. Oh, I needed that. That's all.
I feel like we need some context as perhaps an image.
There's zero context. That's all you need to hear. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Everyone on the server knows what I'm talking about because I post this image constantly. It's so funny to me. So last night at work, I was like so tired. I was like, I'm going to fall asleep at work if I don't do something. So for the first time ever, I had an energy drink. And I'm sure other people who have like rotted their bodies with the liquid lollipop crap are like, oh, whatever. But like, it kind of sent me into overdrive. And I just repeated that meme over and over and kept like hysterically laughing every time for maybe an hour. It was pretty insane.
So, this kind of really fell
now
off.
it's burned into my neurons. I can't get rid of it.
This guy's really fell off, you can tell.
Oh, I needed that. It's just so funny when I imagine that voice looking at the image. He's so smug. With the cigar. Oh, I needed that.
It's got me as well.
See? I heard someone tell me I fell off. Huge puff of cigar. Oh, I needed that. His eyebrows. See?
His fucking face.
I know, it just makes it so good. The fucking smug emoji 100.
Can we get that face as an emoji on the server, do you think?
What?
Can we get Humpty
That'd be so good.
emoji?
Here, I'm gonna send this picture to Anomalous in the editing, and then maybe he can put it on the episode, and you'll all be able to understand what we're going through.
But we are here.
But we need to read articles now.
SCPs. Okay.
Yes. Hit me up with the first one.
First one we got. I needed that.
Oh, I needed that.
Okay, that's the last. We can't mention the meme again.
Yeah, it's too dangerous. See, it's like a mimetic hazard. Alright, okay. Hit me up with the link. Spikebrennan article.
The first one is SCP-001, Spikebrennan's Proposal, also known as God's Blind Spots.
So this is an 001?
Yeah.
Nice. We haven't done one of the. I was about to say we haven't done it in a while, and literally last episode was one.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He really fell.
Well, I think it's because I keep assuming 001, or the one last time was supposed to be a 3000 entry, was it? And I still feel like it was robbed of that, but it's a good 001.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, let's get into
Shall we begin?
Item.
Are you thinking about it again?
I'm thinking about it. It's in my brain now.
I told you! See, that's why I was so baffled no one else finds it funny but me on Discord, but I think they need the voice with the image.
Okay. I'm gonna go for it real this time. Don't mention the egg. Item number SCP-001. Object class, yes odd. Special containment.
What's object class yes odd mean?
It's crazy, man. Special containment procedures. Facility T, the headquarters location of the Foundation's O5 Council and a part of pertinent management bodies, has been constructed around the location of SCP-001, including Building T-01 within the volume of SCP-001. Security protocols for Facility T are set forth in document T-01:01.
Okay. So that's like one of the shortest containment procedures I've ever seen. It's like super vague, so I have no guess as to what this is.
Well, let's find out. Description. SCP-001 is an irregularly shaped volume of space, approximately 65,000 cubic meters in volume, inclusive of space both above and below the original ground level, located in the Sinai. Apart from its thaumaturgic properties, described below, SCP-001 is unremarkable, and matter and energy can freely enter and leave it. Archaeological work performed by the French Commission des Sciences et des Arts in the late 18th century indicated the remains of a stone structure at the site dating to the late 2nd millennium BCE, fitting the description of an inn. As a result of the construction of Facility T, no trace of the original structure remains.
An inn, they say.
Yeah. Oh, adventurers. Time to kill the Foundation.
What?
SCP-001.
Why is the guy Irish? I'm so confused.
He's a bartender.
I see.
SCP-001 is distinguished as the only known natural location on Earth with absolutely zero ambient Akiva radiation.
Is that something I should already know about? Because that sounds like something I've heard in passing but has never encountered.
So I believe we encountered the description many episodes ago. It's basically like a measurement of faith, I guess.
Oh, yeah! I think that makes... Yeah. Okay.
Experimentation has verified that this condition persists even when an emission source of Akiva radiation is brought near or within the spatial limits of SCP-001. See research report SCP-001, Relic of Tooth of the Buddha, 1974. Which indicates that not only does the outer boundary of SCP-001 impermeably block Akiva radiation from crossing into it in either direction, 001 absorbs and destroys any Akiva radiation that would otherwise be generated within its volume.
So can Akiva radiation be generated by having faith, or does it have to be like intrinsic to an object or a thing?
I believe... usually, as I understand it, it's usually a matter of, like, if the more faith you have, you're producing it. But I think in this case, we're taking a slightly different definition of it, where it's like a sign of, like, divinity, more like...
I gotcha. Very interesting.
As a consequence of SCP-001's properties, the natural progression of degeneration or termination of Homo sapiens' cognitive function and organic functionality are suspended while the Homo sapiens subject in question remains within the limits of SCP-001. Put another way, subject to certain limitations, human death does not occur within SCP-001. See excerpts of test log below.
So wait, is Akiva radiation what makes us age? Is that the implication here?
Well, I guess it's part... Well, they never said it's not aging, just you don't die.
Well, it says the progression of degeneration or termination, so I assume...
Well, maybe let's find out more. Test 1. Personnel D1082, a healthy human male, sounds like me, is placed in a standard humanoid containment cell within SCP-001 and observed for 120 days. Outcome, no change.
Oh, that's nice.
Test 3. Personnel D2326, a healthy human female, introduce me, is...
Oh my god. Me when I hear about a healthy human female? Wooga.
How do you... You see a healthy human female in testing at Site 19. How do you open?
The fucking shit on Twitter! How do you open?
A lethal dose of cyanide gas is released into the vessel. After completion of the test, the gas is vented. Oh, no change. D326 suffered no adverse medical effects.
Okay, so like you can't be harmed essentially while you're in here.
Number 6.
Because she took in cyanide gas that would have killed her, but because she's on site, she didn't die, right?
Yeah. 6. Same parameters as test 3, but subject to 30 healthy specimens of Rattus norvegicus. Outcome.
What's
Specimen... rats. We are the rats. Specimens die of cyanide poisoning. Subsequent variations of this test suggest that the life-preserving attributes of 001 are limited to human subjects.
Okay. So wait, what is this SCP called again? Or is it just Spikebrennan's proposal?
It's called God's Blind Spot.
God's Blind Spot, okay.
Test 9.
Interesting.
Personnel D5337, a human female suffering from stage 4 cancer, metastasized to most organs and within a prognosis of imminent death, is placed inside a standard containment cell within 001 and observed for 786 days. No change, including any advancing cancer symptoms, while subject remained within 001. Subject expired within 48 hours after being removed from 001 after the conclusion of the test.
Damn.
Test 10. Personnel 5361, a healthy human male, hey, it's me again, is placed in a crematory within SCP-001, which is then activated. Wait, hold on a second. That's not me anymore, because they're doing that to him. The D-Class's body combusts in a manner consistent with normal control operations. Resultant remains are unremarkable. Subsequent variations of the test suggest that the life-preserving attributes of 001 do not extend to all cases of trauma.
Okay, so like if you get bludgeoned to death, you would still die in there. It's just like if you get sick or like poisoned or something.
I guess, yeah. So test 338. I guess nothing happened in over 328.
Dude, no one in this site has like any free time.
Personnel D8874, a healthy human female, is played. Why did I say it like that? How do you open?
Yeah. How do you open?
Is placed in a standard human containment cell within SCP-001 and restrained. Subject's left leg is amputated above the thigh without anaesthetic and without the use of a tourniquet or other constriction of the femoral artery. That's
See, why do you... I was about to be... I was about to be like, why would you do that? That's unnecessary. But then I realized that's literally the point of the test is like, does the body preserve?
Yeah. After amputation, the leg is removed from 001 while personnel D-Class remains under observation for a period of 360 days. Subject temporarily loses consciousness, probably due to pain and sudden blood loss, we don't know, but recovers and bleeding stops within 12 hours. Stump heals at accelerated rate. Amputated leg, which had been removed from the SCP-001, decays at rate consistent with flesh stored under similar conditions. Test 537. Personnel D13926.
I gotta say, the tests are kind of like bullshit. Like, imagine test 1, you come in, they're like, oh, you just have to sit here for 120 days, and then some lady's like, oh, cool, it's gonna be like a vacation. What do I have to do? And they're like, we're gonna cut off your leg without anesthetic now. Yeah. We need to do a little test.
Have you ever heard of Humpty Dumpty? We're gonna take you apart and see if the other king's men can put you back together again.
Oh no, what did someone tell her?
Healthy male identical twins, age 24, are subject of study. Personnel D13926 is placed in standard long-term human containment cell within SCP-001, while the personnel 927 is placed in standard long-term human containment cell at a different Foundation facility. Subjects are observed for a period of 26 years, 10 months. Jesus.
Oh my god. These tests are so extra.
Personnel 97 presents a progression of physical bodily changes consistent with normal human aging, but 96 does not appear to measurably age during the test duration. After conclusion of test, 96 was transferred to a different Foundation facility, whereupon that subject presented an accelerated progression of changes consistent with aging.
Okay, so it like started catching up once they left the blind spot.
Yes.
Okay, so this applies something interesting. It implies that like every sort of mechanic of how we understand the way the world works. Well, I was gonna say it implies that every mechanic like relies on God being aware of it, but like non-humans are still affected by shit in the site, which is very curious. It opens a lot of questions to what's going on here, and I'm intrigued. I'm hoping for a little more meat than this, like, you know, very typical. I'm not the guy who's like, oh, clinical tone bad or anything, but I would like a little more meat and potatoes, but also I know this is like an earlier article, so I'm willing to put up with a little more.
A dormitory facility has been constructed within Building T-01, containing living spaces for all members of the Foundation's O5 Council and certain other members of senior management.
Oh, okay, so it's like
that
they don't have to age. Is that how they're like the immortal epic guys?
I guess, in this kind of, yeah. You can't see me, God. Where am I?
Bruh.
Presently, 9 of the 12 members of the O5 Council reside within that dormitory, and 8 of those 9 have not exited from Building T-01 since the completion of its construction. Shut-ins.
Damn.
A ninth O5 Sorry.
Do you think that, like, the other 3 just, like, choose not to for whatever reasons, or do you think, like, the other 9 are hiding it from them because they don't like them?
I don't know. But we do have a bit of information here. A 9th member who left Building T01 to attend a personal matter was killed in a meteorological event before her scheduled return.
Oh, do you think that was like punishment for like defying God by staying in the blind
It's
spot?
There you are, you little fucker.
Yeah, spotted.
White woman spotted.
God, how do you open meteor? Bro, that's how he opens.
I just got an idea, but I don't even know if it's fucking blasphemous.
Just say it.
God sees fucking Murray. He's like, how do you open?
No! A crumb of blasphemy, but it's funny.
Due to SCP-001's properties, it is also used as a control site for the Foundation's thaumaturgic research program, including the development of applications for instances of SCP-2336-A. I guess.
Do I need to know anything about that, or have we read that article?
I don't believe we need to know anything about that.
Okay, because that number sounds familiar, but so do like all the numbers after a while.
Why don't I pass this first addendum to you?
Sure. We're calling this episode "How Do You Open?" by the way, and okay. I want everyone in the comments to tell us how they'd open. Archival document 06 S7INF-23-A. Sniff. In matters of natural philosophy and of understanding the substance of the Almighty God, we must begin our investigation with the evidence of our senses, which includes the testimony of Holy Scripture. For no man hath seen God, but the perception of God may come from observing his creation, and from the careful study of Holy Scripture. Consider Exodus 4, which being rendered in the Hebrew, I can't read Hebrew, which being interpreted, saith, And it came to pass by the way in the inn, that the Lord met him, meaning Moses, and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah, the wife of Moses, took a sharp stone, and cut off the foreskin of her son, and cast it at his feet, and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. Footnote, Exodus 4:24-26. Considering the teaching of these verses, many learned scholars focus their attention on the second of these verses, in which Zipporah, the wife of Moses, performs the rite of circumcision, and, in so doing, saves her husband from the wrath of the Almighty God. Therein, say the scholars, lies the moral lesson that none, not even God's prophet, shall be exempt from the laws of his covenant. Yeah, so this kind of like builds up to the idea that like people who abuse the blind spot get owned. But consider the first of these verses, which is so little understood. The Almighty God, having formed an intent to kill Moses, attempted to do so and failed. This episode is the key to the understanding of the substance of God, for we must understand that if Scripture is infallible, and Scripture tells us that the Almighty God tried to kill Moses but failed, then infallible Scripture saith that God is not omnipotent, or at least that God's power does not extend to that particular place. This is like the most atheist YouTube argument I've ever seen, but I actually... In this specific context, I kind of dig what it's going for, like implying the blind spot. Sir Isaac Newton, Observations upon the Substance of God, 1724.
And that's and that fifth grader, Isaac Newton.
Based. Alright, I'll pass the next one off to you. We can popcorn these articles, because there's a lot of them.
The newly invented thermometric apparatus permitted our order to verify what we had long suspected, namely that the divine grace, or as some of our brethren are apt to put it, the thaumaturgic force, was a phenomenon of actual measurable substance. One of my colleagues proposed the name Akiva as the unit of measurement for this phenomenon, after some long-dead Hebrew martyr. This philosophical and technological breakthrough prompted the initiation of several projects, including a comprehensive mapping of conditions and variations of Akiva throughout the globe. It was not to be a mere frippery such as the charting of the source of the Nile or the naming of some inconsequential sea rock. Rather, the photographic map will be an invaluable tool in allowing our order to harness the powers of the divine grace.
A lot of shit is capitalized in these articles.
Because it's old-timey.
Very interesting.
And so we organized cartographic teams, each equipped with a thermometric apparatus, to commence the mapping project, with special concentration on regions of particular interest. In a particular corner of the Holy Land, Napoleon Bonaparte showed us the way. As you know, Napoleon's campaign into Egypt in 1798 was accompanied by the Commission des Sciences et des Arts, which completed a comprehensive survey of that country.
Is the thermometric device what's in his hands or what he's standing beside in the picture?
I don't know.
Because if it's what he's standing behind, I'm pretty sure that's just an old-timey water fountain. If it's what he's holding, I'm pretty sure that's a wire.
No, it's a thermometric apparatus. You can't see the magic.
Yeah, it's dowsing sticks.
Volume 11 of that report charted the geographic locations of historic locations, including the biblical Mount Horeb. And so, fortified with this information, a team of Freemasons and members of our Hermetic Order, led by myself, travelled to the Sinai to retrace the steps of Moses from Mount Horeb back to the court of Pharaoh. Tonight I am pleased to report to our order the success of this endeavour. We found the inn. Bram Stoker. Transcription minutes of meeting of Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Could you tell
I need to do some geographic... Yeah.
I immediately changed the fucking voice I was doing as soon as I saw it was Bram Stoker speaking.
Who's Bram Stoker?
He wrote Dracula.
Okay, so I'm looking at Sinai Peninsula. It's like Egypt and shit. Okay, so hold on. I'm missing
Okay,
something.
gods. That's
Where is
enough
this inn
punishing
located?
my sins. My turn.
Does this inn? This is probably not the inn that Jesus was born at, right? Is this like
this
an
is a
inn
different
Moses
inn.
stayed at?
Yeah, I guess Moses was there and God tried to fucking waste him.
So, is the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn like an SCP thing, or am I just missing more
that's
information?
That's real life law.
Okay, I need to look that up. Like, can I get like a TLDR on it?
They're like one of those old timey like magic societies.
Interesting.
Yes, just going right off the Wikipedia sort of brief description. Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was a secret society devoted to the study and practice of the occult, metaphysics, and paranormal activities during the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Kind of reminds me of like the little. Have you ever played CK2?
Yeah, you know I've played CK2.
I do. Oh, do you have the DLC that like lets you do like the cults
Yeah.
and like different secret societies? There's like
I'm pretty sure we played it together. Are you okay?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Dude, perhaps you're mentally insane?
Oh, okay. But we have more on.
Excerpt of memorandum by site director William Wynne Westcott, and there's a little thing. Westcott co-founded an organization that is one of the Foundation's predecessor entities to Helena Blavatsky, October 16th, 1890. So this means the Foundation's less than 100 years old by this canon, which is interesting. Having studied the inn and testing its properties, only one conclusion can be reached. God has a blind spot, and we have found where it is. The properties of the inn present a number of thermometric engineering opportunities beyond merely hiding from the Angel of Death. We now know that the ambient Akiva radiation level within the inn remains at 0 regardless of what happens inside. So I'm curious, is it blind because he doesn't see or notice it? Because like by now, and especially with the way he strikes vengeance of people that leave, I would think that like he would be able to find it. So is it just something that he can't enter?
Maybe.
By implication, since this is God's blind spot, there can be no theological consequence to an action taken within its boundaries. Although I am no physicist, our colleague Nicola has described it to me as being essentially a Faraday cage for sin. Oh my god, Faraday cage, I forgot the series one. The Faraday cage is back, baby! Hell yeah. The suitability of such a location as the headquarters of the central decision-making body of our new order should be obvious. Note, the office of the Foundation's Ethics Committee have been located in Building TO1 since the committee's inception.
Sins don't count detail. If you do that.
Hell yeah.
I'll take next bit. My little Yoda throat killer then. See me, God cannot. Take ketamine, I will. Notes of Dr. Marvin Scranton, another one of these fucking Scrantons. July 31st, 1924. Excerpted. As a result of our study of the properties of SCP-001, we are now ready to begin our first trials here at Site-36 for the artificial generation of a shielded Akiva vacuum, which we're calling the Anti-Monad. Essentially, we're going to create another instance of SCP-001. Today's test will be the culmination of over 20 years of advances in thermometric engineering and applied theology. Bertrand, my assistant, put it more bluntly. We've built a box and we're pushing God out of it. Time skip. It turns out that just as nature...
some kind of Faraday cage?
It turns out that just as nature abhors a vacuum, so does imminence. Our instrument readings indicate that when the anti-monad came online, the measurable Akiva reading within the test capsule dropped to 0, the Hume level spiked. We think that something else, something that we don't presently have a way of observing or measuring, came in. We don't know what it is, or what it was, or where it went.
That's actually cool. Like, they pushed God out, and now something else has an opportunity. Something like that God was suppressing has an opportunity to flourish. Oh, that's menacing as fuck. That's a cool little thing. So is that like Spikebrennan? Just asking, because this is literally the first article of his we read. Is Spikebrennan like a religious person? Because I also know people have mentioned to me numerous times he did some other Jesus-type SCP.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of this sort of like applied theology stuff.
I wish we had visited him sooner. I always find religion stuff super fascinating. I'm very interested.
O5 Policy Memorandum K308, August 2nd, 1924, excerpt. Gentlemen, the frequency and severity of anomalous incidents appears to have dramatically increased since the 31st July incident at Site 36. While no causal link to the antimonad test has been conclusively proven as of yet, the timing is noted. As we have discussed, this episode underscores the need for the Foundation to revisit and expand its mission charter. To date, we have been a research organization, but emergency times call for emergency measures, and it has become imperative for our organization to do more than contain the specimens that we study. We must take steps to secure those anomalies not already within the Foundation's custody, both in order to protect the anomalies for future research and to protect humanity as a whole. Effective immediately, the Foundation hereby authorizes and establishes an active field operations department. Our existing research operation is hereby reorganized as comprising a separate and distinct research department. This new agency department is hereby authorized to immediately organize, fund, staff, equip, train, and deploy one or more mobile task forces. The provisional leadership and budget for the field operations department are set forth in the attached exhibits.
So this is, I assume, of the vein of, like, the 001 being also an origin of the Foundation.
Yeah.
I know they kind of, like, hinted at subtly before, but now it seems they're straying a bit away from, like, the actual SCP in question, focusing more on, like, how the Foundation was created. Which, it's interesting in its own right, but I kind of wish they'd stick their roots more deeply into, like, the core of what they've got here. But, again, I can't blame it.
Note, Memorandum K308 represents the official commencement of the Foundation's operations to actively collect and contain anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena, as opposed to merely studying them. Memorandum. To the Administrator, O5 Council, C.C. Muhammad Al-Taki, Director of the Office of Tactical Theology, from Sheldon Clapp, Esquire.
Tactical Theology is like a canon or GOI or something, right?
It's a thing, though, yeah.
Just by the name, I've wanted to, because I've heard that name around before, I've wanted to look into that for a while.
Date, 3rd of August, 19... Status of negotiations, Project Uriel. I believe that we have reached an understanding with the counterparty. The purpose of this memorandum is to memorialize a principal point of understanding. As we have discussed, the formal agreement will be presented in the form of a covenant. Stone tablets are expected, but I've asked for a PDF file as well. Background. Okay. The Foundation's operations at Facility T have for some time been a sticky point via our relations with the counterparty. Recent developments, too voluminous to be summarized here, have prompted the Foundation's senior...
Wait a minute. The stone tablet thing, I'm interested. Is this like some sort of covenant with God?
The counterparty, yes. In this case.
I dig it.
Recent developments, too voluminous to be summarised here, have prompted the Foundation's senior management to seek a rapprochement with the counterparty, both to facilitate ongoing research and containment efforts, to avoid accelerating
Theo-eschatological.
Yeah, they cut out when I said it, catastrophe, and to maintain the efficacy of certain Foundation protocols, such as the containment regimen for SCP-1844.
Have we read that one?
I don't believe we have. At senior management's direction, then, my office undertook negotiations with the counterparty. The points summarised below represent the outcome of these negotiations.
Oh, so this one they've only got 5. They don't even have 10. They got a good deal.
Yeah. Summary of points of understanding. 1. No natural person may physically remain within Facility T for a continuous period in excess of 120 years. This limit applies to members of the O5 Council, other members of the Foundation management, and staff, test subjects, and others. The Foundation is expected to enforce this limitation.
So is the idea that in exchange for, like, this deal, God's no longer going to, like, insta-murder them when they leave?
I guess, and he's, like, on their side, I guess. 2. Minutes of the proceedings of the Ethics Committee are to be communicated to the counterparty not less frequently than annually. The precise logistics of these communications have not yet been worked out, but I suspect it will consist of writing them on parchment and then burning them in a brazier located outside of Facility T.
Nice.
3. The counterparty shall not smite, strike down, or otherwise exact upon any of the Foundation personnel named on Exhibit A, as amended from time to time by the mutual agreement of the parties.
See, that's actually clever that they have, like, a list, because then if someone invades and leaves, they can get, like, insta-owned.
Yeah. Without at least 90 days written notice and an opportunity to cure the transgression. Provided, however, this clause shall not be applicable in the case of a tribulation of general applicability.
See, that's smart because it makes the Foundation uninvadable. That's pretty cool.
Imagine you get a fucking letter like, I'm going to kill you in 90 days. 4. Neither the Foundation nor any of its executive-level personnel shall bow down to or worship any divine entity other than the counterparty. For I, the Lord, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generations of them that hate me. The counterparty insisted upon this clause. Because the clause does not actually compel any action, but merely forbids it, I apply by discretion to accept this point. I assume that the first person drafting the strip will be cleaned up in the final version.
Interesting.
5. The Foundation and the counterparty shall use commercially reasonable efforts to cooperate with respect to the containment of the adverse entities described on Exhibit B. Collectively, the Angramanu. Dr. Aldaki explained to me that the office...
I don't even remember exactly what the Angramanu is originally. I just know Fate ruined that for me by making the edgy Avenger person. Can I get a TLDR on what Angramanu is again?
I don't know if it's literally the Angramanu in this case, but it's like a god of evil in the Zoroastrianism.
Ah.
Please contact me to discuss the points of understanding before the formal agreement is completed. Respectfully, Sheldon Katz, Prophet of God. S. I don't know what the S means.
What's that? What's the S mean?
I don't know. It all makes me think it's like the Twitter thing, like /sarcastic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is he using tone indicators in like 1930? So ahead of his time. My mom passed me a passive-aggressive note to get some cleaning done after recording, so we may have to speed this along.
Oh my god. 90 days.
Alright, so this was a pretty good article. I know it doesn't meet the typical standards I would grade by, like, for narrative, yada yada, but I think there's an understanding with older articles. It's not a free pass, but like Cactus mentioned before on our podcast, they were doing something different. And I think for what Spikebrennan was trying to do here, he did a pretty good job. He created some food for thought. I'm also a little biased because I enjoy reading things about religion, made up or otherwise. And I think... even though it's a Foundation origin story, it doesn't try too hard to tie everything in a neat little bow, which I actually kind of like. I know some people probably don't like that it kind of binds the Foundation to Christianity in a way, but I think it's kind of interesting, that relationship, and it's mentioned in the footnote that even though it may be cleaned up, it doesn't need you to believe in him, you just can't believe in anyone else, which I think is kind of like a funny way to play on that, like, jealous God, what's the word I'm looking for, clause?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I can tell a lot of time and thought was put into this, and I respect it. I'm genuinely sad to see this only has, like, under 400 upvotes. I'm going to toss it 1, and I would give this, like, probably a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
With the understanding that, like, a point or two of that is from my plus bonuses. Because it's still a little bare bones, but I think this is a really solid foundation, no pun intended, for, like, a lore going on here. Alright, what do you got for the second article? Do we have time for the second article? We're about 33 minutes in, and we still have a comment reading. It's up to you. We probably do, if it's not super long.
I'll show you the article and you can decide. I have this article, I have an alternative one that's a bit shorter.
Okay. Well, I'll see this one. If it looks long, I'll take a look at your alternate. And it's not like we can never read the one that we choose not to do later, because I wouldn't mind revisiting Spikebrennan. Oh, Lord. This one I don't think will be long if I don't make quips, but I'm just looking at this list of remarks and stuff in this, like, format, and this is, like, anathema to my brain.
I have an alternative.
It reminds me of when we read, like, what was it, 6001, 5001, the one Yossi wrote that, like, it wasn't bad by any means. It was like that one about a machine that contained something, but it was just, like, so many events, and it made my brain, like, mush. That's the feeling I'm getting right now.
Don't worry, I have an alternative.
Alright, let me see the alternative. Let me do a comparison. This one's clearly must be something, because it has way more upvotes than the 001. Alright, 2336 was actually referenced in the 001. This one is... This one's way shorter, but it might be too short. I think we could read either of them within our time limit. I will leave it to you. You decide.
Well, in that case, we should do the 1322. People really like it.
Alright, let's do it.
Item number, SCP-1322. Object class. Special containment procedures. SCP-1322 is contained in a sealed spherical class...
8.
8.
Dude, you have to learn Roman numerals. You were 26.
What? What do you mean? Oh, yes, I can go hang out with my boy Caesar? What do you mean I have to learn them?
So you can read, like, old-timey clocks, so you can understand half of, like, people being pretentious on the internet. It's not even hard. You only need to learn, like, 3 letters. That's it. No one uses, like, the big ones. You need to know X, V, and I. And you need to know when it...
With ablative inner surface. Hardened against particle beams, nuclear and conventional explosions, and corrosives, and regularly inspected for damage and monitored for viral and bacterial contamination. Atmospheric pressure of the containment chamber must be maintained at as low a level as practical, and procedure Sega CD is to be initiated if atmospheric pressure should exceed
Sega CD
6.00 times 10 squared Pascal.
To the -2 Pascal. That's called significant digits, my friend.
As an anti-pathogenic measure, radiation levels of the containment chamber should be maintained at no less than 4.50 roentgen. Not bad, not terrible. Conclusional documents.
What the fuck is roentgen?
That's like the bad rads. For addenda to maintain control protocol, as protocol is updated on a
Is that like an
basis.
SCP thing?
No, it's real.
Okay, let me look it up. Roentgen. It is... Yeah, it's like a unit of radiation. Okay. I thought you were making that up. I'm sorry.
I watched Chernobyl, they say in that.
Yeah, Tanhoney may not know his Roman numerals, but he sure as heck knows his radiation measurements.
It's what affects me more in this life.
Damn. What are you planning? Gemini nuke?
Description. SCP-1322 is a stable space-time anomaly, presently hypothesized to be an interdimensional aperture to a parallel universe.
And they've got it, like, trapped in a glass bottle thing, right?
Yeah. The anomaly occupies a fixed location around which Site-122 has been constructed in order to study and contain it.
So I know this is literally only the second Spikebrennan article I've written, so I don't want to say this is like a trademark, but I find it interesting that he writes like about things that are like they build around the thing. Yeah, like it's a part of the world and they build around it to compensate, as opposed to like grabbing a monster and shoving it somewhere.
Yeah. The anomaly is roughly ellipsoid in shape, measuring approximately 2.5 centimeter along its longer... I got the emphasis wrong. Along its longer horizontal axis, and approximately 1 centimeter along its vertical axis.
It's also funny to me because, like, the implication of it being a part of existence and they built around it is, like, at one point before the Foundation existed, someone was just, like, wandering in the desert or whatever, and there's just a fucking hole in space.
So it's
just
real
there.
small.
Anyone
it's
can see it.
2.5 centimeters.
It's enough to shove your hand in.
The anomaly is two-dimensional and coplanar, with a plane perpendicular to the horizon, oriented approximately 36 degrees west of true north. I should probably mention the title of this article is Glory Hole.
Oh my god, I was about to make the joke that it's a dimensional glory hole, and I was like, I could be above this, and now I'm not.
Matter and energy
I'm vindicated.
Matter and energy are capable of passing through the anomaly in the manner of a traversable wormhole. I bet it is.
Oh my god. You have to have a pretty small pecker to shove it in there, though. 1.5, but 1 by 2.5 centimeters?
Octopoid. When lighting conditions in the space in the near vicinity of the other side of the wormhole permits, the space on the other side of the wormhole can be directly observed. Particles and objects of the cross-section not exceeding the anomaly's dimension are capable of being inserted into the anomaly and then transported into the parallel universe. The anomaly does not conduct sound. The parallel universe on the other side of the anomaly has been officially designated SCP-1322-A, although the term Hartle, approximate phonetic reading of the term for homeworld used by the population of -A with whom communication has been established, has also been commonly used. The anomaly appears to have been artificially and deliberately generated from the -A side. The population of -A does not appear to have been successful in generating additional instances of the SCP, nor in altering the SCP's dimensions or closing it, notwithstanding extensive efforts on their part to do so. The anomaly appears to have emerged in the Standard Universe in approximately the year 1952.
So wait, are we the Standard Universe, or are they the Standard Universe? I'm a little lost.
We're the Standard Universe.
Okay.
With the Foundation promptly establishing control of the anomaly's location. Though the Foundation had initially conducted an extensive study program of SCP-1322, including communication with the civilization on the other side, recent Foundation efforts have focused on containment. See containment and observation log experts below.
And we've got quite a lot of these, and I assume the reason it's so liked is that these are going to be funnies, especially considering the name is Glory Hole. This is going to be good.
Popcorn these.
Sure, I'll let you breathe a little bit, and I'll try and get some of these chunky ones done before I pass it off. Time reference, August 1952. Anomaly discovered. September 1952. Foundation obtains custody over SCP-1322. Containment chamber constructed. See document 1322.v.srd3006 for plans and technical specifications. October 1952.
My
Happy birthday, Tan. Yeah. Well, many years before you were born. Under
they celebrated it
of your
prior.
life. I'm sure. Metallic cylinder emerges
People
through
have
anomaly.
visions.
Cylinder is retrieved and subjected to quarantine and sterilization. You should make Tanhoney Tower a real SCP. I think that would be fun. Following, and someone has a prophecy about you being born. That's why they named the tower after you. Following clearance, cylinder is examined and found to be hollow with screw cap. Cylinder contains triangular sheets of paper-like substance upon which glyphs are inscribed. Artifact referred to linguistics unit. So it's like the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, they're like sending stuff through, like, you up?
Okay. November 1952. Experimentation with 1322 progresses, including introduction of various string-tethered objects through anomaly. Samples taken of atmosphere in 1322-A space found to resemble Earth atmosphere, but with a higher concentration of argon. December 1952. Several additional cylinders containing documents emerged through 1322 and, after quarantine, are subjected to analysis. And then we jump all the way to July? Yeah, July 1953. Linguistics and mathematics personnel report breakthrough and analysis of documents obtained from 1322-A. Message on glyphs interpreted as representations of geometric principles and texts, apparently composed with a deliberate purpose of establishing cordial contact with the discoverers of the message. Oh, discoverers! Our fans!
It's us!
Linguistics... It's us!
They look in the hole, my face is just looking back.
Hello? Linguistics unit composes reply message using same writing system, prints same on paper, places paper in a metal cylinder Foundation manufacture, but resembling those used by 1322-A culture, and inserts cylinder into anomaly. September 1953. Light activated on far side of anomaly. Close observation of anomaly indicates that far side of anomaly is located in what appears to be an artificially constructed containment chamber, broadly similar to that constructed by Foundation for Containment of Anomaly. What did you say?
Anomaly.
Yeah, I know. I'm like kind of losing it a little bit, and I wish I hadn't agreed to read this one. Because it's like, again, they were doing something different. I get it. I appreciate it, but I'm going insane. And there's like no spacing in these giant paragraphs, and it's making my
I'll tell you why.
To...
Because Wikidot doesn't let you with these fucking charts. You can't space out paragraphs.
Fucking A. Wikidot, more like Shitty Dot. Haha, upvotes to the right? October 1953. Approximate start date of extensive
October 1953.
Oh my god, Tanhoney's back. Approximate start date of extensive communication with 1322-A civilization. Communication initially consists of reciprocal delivery of text messages on paper. Oh my god, they on their phone? Even
You
before
up?
1993? You up? First and... Oh my god, do you think anyone ever fell in love over, like, the hole? Now I want to write a tale about that.
Oh,
wait. That's so sweet. First in glyphic system in which initial messages were composed, which is determined to be a simplified form of the standard written language of the 1322-A civilization, and subsequently in a mutually developed blend of said glyphic system and English. Communication accelerated with 1322-A civilization proposes the construction of a telegraphic system involving a specially shielded cable traversing the anomaly, with reciprocal equipment for the encoding and decoding of communications on both ends. November 11th, 1953.
I'll take over after this one.
Okay. After this one, you're on duty for a while. Communications with SCP-1322-A civilization indicates that the civilization is composed of Homo sapiens, or a species not meaningfully different therefrom. Organization with whom communication has been established is a scientific institute associated with the polity comprising the geographic area surrounding the -A side location of the anomaly, approximately analogous to a nation-state. Details of political organization and the technologies of -A civilization are disclosed. -A civilization has attained an advanced degree of technological and engineering sophistication, particularly in the fields of mathematics and high energy. Oh, is this why the Foundation is high tech? Because that's kind of cool, actually. In which that civilization's achievements surpass those of Earth, viz., the creation of the anomaly as an unintended consequence of an experiment to investigate the properties of quantum foam, but with less sophistication in biological science. -A civilization expresses strong interest in sharing samples of music, visual arts, literature, particularly metered poetry of various languages, with a particular interest in Indic and Cynic cultures, and mathematics, but no interest in medicine or religion. Reciprocal deliveries of data from -A civilization are archived and undergo analysis. Very, very interesting. All right,
well done, Darnell. You won the psychological battle.
Yeah, you get the easy ones now.
January 1962. SCP-1322-A civilization tripped upon the first fucking word, so there we go. Provides a detailed log of astronomical observations and suggests that Foundation reciprocates. Analysis of provided data by Foundation's researchers suggests strong possibility that there is no position within our observable universe that can correlate to the provided data. Foundation personnel assemble data file for delivery to -A. Data is altered at direction of Site-122 administrators citing security concerns.
So this is their way of finding out, like, this is another planet, it's for sure another dimension.
Yeah. Within 9 hours following delivery of data file, -A civilization identifies the false information and suggests that Foundation personnel proceed with more candour in the interest of mutual scientific and cultural development. Suggestion forwarded to O5 for consideration.
I'm confused. What happened there?
So they're like, send the information from our side, but make it fake so they don't know too much. And they were like, this is fake. Don't do that.
That seems kind of unnecessarily fucked with the Foundation.
November 1972. Telegraphic cable through the SCP temporarily disconnected and withdrawn into containment chamber for routine maintenance. Following maintenance, -A cable end is reinserted into the SCP, where -A personnel reconnect it to equipment on their side.
Wait, what?
They fixed it. It was like they needed to maintain it, I guess.
I got you. Sorry.
December 1972. Communication received from -A indicating that a temporary degradation in the customary response time to signals from Foundation will be experienced due to personnel shortages on -A side. In response to a query, message sent by SCP-A side indicating that the organisation having custody of their side of SCP-1322 is experiencing a higher than normal incidence of personnel illness, resulting in absenteeism. Damn.
Wait.
They got that COVID.
Is our Foundation poisoning them? I'm confused.
And they're sick on the other side. January 1973. Message sent by -A side reporting that its personnel situation is back to normal, but the illness is becoming widespread in the geographic area of the -A.
Oh, when they replugged it, I bet some germs went over because they, like, swapped sides.
Oh no.
So we gave them all our diseases.
March 1973. Message sent by -A side indicating that local government is imposing quarantine measures in an effort to arrest spread of what is evidently a viral outbreak on their side.
Sweating emoji.
In response to a Foundation offer to render assistance, -A civilization delivers data package containing pathology data. We send back some masks.
Damn.
And then that's April 1973. After appropriate quarantine measures are taken at Site-122, Foundation requests that -A civilization deliver a sample of the virus. The sample is delivered through SCP-1322 in an appropriately shielded ampule, which is then secured and analysed subject to Class V Contagious Disease Protocol. See document ref. Upon analysis, virus found to be a harmless flu variant. Foundation researchers send analysis data to -A, together with suggestions on synthesizing a vaccine and administrating inoculation protocols. Damn. June 1973. -A reports at least 8 million worldwide casualties attributable to virus, approximately 0.091% of their global population, and that Foundation-developed vaccine has been distributed and administered on a widespread basis. August 1973. -A reports that spread of virus appears to have been arrested and that the number of new incidents of illness from the virus is dramatically decreasing. October 1973. -A reports worldwide inoculation against the virus. We did it, Reddit.
Wait a minute.
December 1973. In the course of normal communications, -A reports an unexpected decrease in new pregnancies.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. May 1974. -A reports a dramatic drop in birth rates.
Oh no.
August 1974. -A reports that its analysis indicates that decreases in fertility appear to be a side effect of the Foundation-provided vaccine.
Alright. Take your bets. Is it because their version of humanity is slightly different and they didn't account for that? Or do you think the Foundation sterilized an entire alternate dimension?
I don't know why they would do that, but let's find out more. January 1975.
I mean, why would they fucking lie about their star chart? Tell me that.
They have, like, tactical info, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
January 1975. -A reports widespread social disorder attributable to fertility issues and corresponding stresses on family life. In response to Foundation offer assistance, message received stating, "No thank you, you have done enough." Wow. After we tried to help you with your virus. That's fucked up.
Oh my god.
May 1975. Change in management structure of -A organisation with custody of their side of SCP-1322. Communications received from their side are frequently belligerent and accusatory in tone. July 1975. -A organisation unilaterally discontinues communications dealing with scientific and cultural exchange.
So this thing, in order to do all this, there wasn't always like a Class A containment around it, right?
I guess
it used to just be open?
September 1975. -A organisation reports massive ongoing worldwide upheaval attributable to drop in fertility. Message received indicates fewer than 1,000 live births reported globally in the past 72 days. And how about popcorn it off to you?
October 1975. Last communication received from 1322-A. Communication consisted of text reading, "You killed us! You did this to us! In your carelessness and your arrogance, you have destroyed our posterity. But we shall avenge! We of the last generation pledge and vow this. We will find a way." And this links to another article.
Yeah, that's not... we're not looking at that right now.
December 1976. Monitors in 1322 containment chamber indicate that various pathogens have been introduced into the containment chamber from -A side, but have been isolated and destroyed. January 1977. High-energy particle beam fired through 1322 from the -A side, damaging Site 122 containment chamber. Damage is promptly repaired. March 1984. A high-energy beam of coherent radiant energy. This seems a little bitter, guys. It was an accident.
Come on,
radiant energy.
1984 much?
Fired through 1322 from the A side, immediately followed by the insertion of various pathogens through 1322. Damage from being repaired and pathogens isolated and destroyed. Oh, because we have like means to repair the biological stuff. They're trying to make us pay, but they can't. August 1984, directed energy weapon fired through 1322 from the A side, immediately followed by the insertion of various pathogens. Damage from weapon repaired and pathogens. Okay, I get it. They're doing this over and over. I'm losing it a little bit. Okay. April 1991, beam weapon fired through... Oh my god. I can't do it anymore. When does it end? June 1991, at direction of Site 122 Administrator, Foundation fills containment chamber of 1322 with quick setting hardened ceramic. July 1991, ceramic dissolved by means of unknown solvent introduced through 1322 from the A side.
Some fucking Roadrunner shit.
September 1992, high energy particle beam fired through 1322 from -A side, immediately followed by the insertion of nanobots. Damage from being repaired and nanobots isolated and destroyed.
December 1992. The big cat
is this
puts
just
a
the rest of
shotgun
this?
into the mouse hole, but Jerry managed to turn it around, so he shoots himself.
Can you just tell me straight up, is this the rest of this? Am I going to miss anything? Because I can't do this anymore.
They keep trying to kill us. It sort of escalates, so they got like nanobots and thermonuclear weapons trying to come through.
And none of it works?
No, not today. It has not yet worked. Well, no, it's not worked.
Alright. I was gonna originally upvote this one, and I get like that style of humor of repeating a thing over and over, but it kind of was like too much for me, so I'm gonna have to dock it some points on that. I have to be honest, I don't think this is a bad SCP. I can get the comedy behind it, especially for its time, but I'm surprised this has over 1,000 upvotes and the proposal has like so few. And it just kind of is a testament to me that like the wiki's a little random sometimes. But I will give this a tentative upvote, and I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. What do you think, though? You're allowed to think differently from me. I'm curious what your perspective is, why so many people like this.
I don't know whether it's necessarily meant to be a comedy sort of thing, but it comes off that way because of, as you said, like the repetitions or the escalation. I feel like at the time it was just a bit more of a novel idea than what is seen as now.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that's kind of like something I can tell looking at Spikebrennan's works and when it came out compared to like other Series 1 and 2 stuff, which was like spooky monster, throw in a cage, don't let it break out and eat everyone. It's like a little bit more outside the box. And I don't mean to generalize every Series 1 and 2. I know there were other out-of-the-box ones, but I can respect that. And I think if you had shown me these, like when we first started the podcast, I might have liked them a little bit more. But now that like I've seen some of the other stuff, I'm kind of like jaded to this style of article. Which is a shame, because funny enough, if we had read these when Boris suggested it, I probably would have liked them more. But I still am interested. I would love to read more Spikebrennan in the future. I think there's some cool ideas here. I just think that this one in particular doesn't really hit me as interesting.
Right, no worries. But we did do it. I said we'd do it. And like 90 episodes later, we've read a fucking Spikebrennan.
Are you satisfied, Boris? We will... I want to do more Spikebrennan in the future, maybe, or at least look into this tactical theology thing, because that seems right up my frickin' alley. But yeah, anything else we want to look at before we start comment readings?
Nothing I can think of. Let's get to these fuckers.
To these fuckers.
I hate them.
Alright.
And almost cut this bit out, because I hate our fucking viewers. I don't want them to...
Now that you've said that, I need to show you another I think you should leave bit when we're done with recording that I think you would like.
Okay.
First, though, discovering SCP. Go to our channel. Click the thing. Wow, that video kind of blew up. Did you see Hamiltoe's tweet, like, kind of went crazy? I kept getting notifications from it all night when he posted it. The one for, like, when day breaks. Did you see that?
I did, yes. Very nice.
Alright. Okay, so first up, Banker Paul left 2 comments. Normally I would not read either, but I'll give him this once as a tweet. As a treat.
As a tweet?
First one is,
let's... on his phone.
Let's see if I can get a comment in while y'all are recording again. And then his second one, oh my gosh, I finally finished an episode of Discovering SCP on the day it came out again. Good episode, by the way. I rated 10 out of 10 conjoined limbs. It was a good episode.
It was. I wasn't in it.
I had fun. I'd love to have Lock on again. I think if we had Lock on again, though, I'd want to do like a game and help break them a little bit more out of their shell. But it was fun having them on.
I thought you said you just wanted to break them. I was like, oh my god.
No, I do not want to break Lock. Please, no. Thought Experiments and Other Stuff says, when Day Breaks is my second favorite 001, only being beaten by the database. Good Day says, oh gee, oh boy, day broke, needs fixing. What could fix it? I have the perfect selection of articles to patch up your broken day. Mimir, what? Mama. So 6670, actually. Stick around the next few weeks. You may be happy. No More Purple Dinosaur. Carol, what should I put as the title? Carol, I'm not reading that whole thing. And then lastly, Death by Duck by Dado. No biases with this recommendation, none at all. Do you think he wrote it?
I bet he did. I bet he's trying to trick us into reading his article, but I'm not going to fucking...
Amazing episode as always, Kings. Oh, well, you know, now that he says that. Raul Alves says, SCP stories about the end of the world or the permanent change of the status quo are always a treat to listen because for me, I like seeing the different ways writers can create such sobering experiences. Examples include When Day Breaks, The Stars Do Not Wait for You, End of Death, and Broken Masquerade. Anyways, great episode. And then we have a comment from Locke, who calls themselves Breaking the Veil on YouTube. It was really cool to have been invited to participate in this. I've been a big fan since, well, discovering SCP. The approach y'all take to readings with Darnell, learning of the articles in real time, adds a level of freshness to the reading format, making works I've come across before feel new again. Aww. Lock, new favorite guest. And also it leaves plenty of room for the funny. Cassie's importance to the L5 is still my...
Now Locke is my best friend.
Exactly. Cactus, I think, might be avoiding me. I think I was unintentionally... Because I wrote that new article, and I wasn't trying to be pushy about it, but I was like, OMG, Cactus, I wrote one, read it. And every time I say it, he, like, suddenly disappears and comes back in chat later when I stop talking. So I think I'm going to stop bothering him about it, but I was like, oh, I didn't mean to chase you off.
He hates Darnell.
I feel a little bit bad. Maybe. Probably not. I can imagine being Cactus, he probably gets, like, I don't intend it to be that way, because, like, you know, I know him, but I imagine he gets, like, 10,000 requests to read an article a day. So I don't blame him. And also, it leaves plenty of room for the funny. Cassie's importance to the O5 is still my favorite bit. Keep up the amazing work, and I hope to be on again sometime. Shythalia says, I don't like it when an SCP-001 proposal is about the end of the world humanity, unless it restarts the timeline or something, like using 2000 at the end. Isn't 001 supposed to be the first SCP? Not necessarily. I don't know, that's just how my logic goes. No hate to Locke and the other authors. I really like When Day Breaks and the other proposals. Alrighty, that's fair enough. I mean, SCP, there's no canon, so it can be whatever the heck you want. Bobble couldn't even be real. He could be fake if you decided so.
Yeah.
In my SCP headcanon, the Garfield SCP is Gorefield. Smile. Personally.
You're a corpse.
How do you open? Darnell's a corpse. Comedy Man Kelp. So this week we're reading an SCP that kills people who go outside. Guess all the SCP fans are gonna be just fine. Nice one.
How do you open?
How do you open? Comedy Man Kelp destroys your entire career. How do you open?
How do you know where this bridge came from? I made it.
This next comment I'm hesitant to read because it's kind of fucked up. But
read it.
Lan says, I wish Tanhoney disappeared like this every episode. You okay, King?
Let me reply to it.
Okay, you read your reply when you post it. I'm going to keep going. Quaker Button Knows 128 says, did the wiki go from Series 4 to Series 7 in only 4 years? What the fuck? I talked about this before with Tan and how it's going to continue to be faster thousands. I know, UE, I believe that's Cement Tiger based on the profile picture, mentions JamCon as a hell of a drug, and maybe that's part of it, but I think as the wiki gets bigger and more people join, you're going to see the slots fill up faster and the 1,000 contests come faster.
Yeah. You just keep coming as they don't stop coming.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more space between like Series 1 and 2, for example, than like 4 to 7.
I've left my reply.
Alright, what does it say? Because I don't want to refresh and lose my place.
It's no funny if I read it. So we'll do it at the end, I guess.
Alrighty. Guare Fernandez Emil says, no offense to Locke, but I never liked When Day... What the fuck? Why does no one else like When Day Breaks but me? I think it's good. But I never liked When Day Breaks that much, especially because the article could have perfectly worked without the tail-like section, with only a few tweaks. You know what, actually? But you didn't write it, did you? Sorry, Guare, I don't mean to insult you. I know you're having your opinion. I hate when, like, something... this isn't what you're doing, by the way, Guare. It's just, like, it reminded me of that, so I want to make this clear. I'm not, like, roasting you. But I hate when, like, something's popular on the wiki, so everyone just decides it's bad. And like, I like obscure SCP. That's a real story. It's
yeah,
like,
that's something different, though, than I think what is being said here.
Yeah, I know that's not what Guare is doing. That's why I'm saying I'm not roasting you, Guare. But it just reminded me of that, and I made myself angry imagining the person in my head. Twitter moment. Though the SCP itself is quite well done. And Darnell, something you need to learn about SCP authors is that most of the good ones have cats because cats are based. Cats are not based. That's why Tian has a dog. What was the tweet you said the other day, Tian, of Rocky? It was like, I used to be human.
It was him, like, tucked into, like, a blanket. He used to be human.
What's the lore there?
He used to be human.
I want, like, a whole series of tweets from you that's, like, Rocky looking, like, mildly sad, like, reminiscing about his old days as a human.
Like, there's a lot of Rocky lore on Twitter about this, but, like, I can pause him, apparently.
You can pause him?
Yeah, that's what I call it when he goes to sleep on Twitter.
I love Rocky. I need more Rocky pics in my life. Also, instead of recommending anything, I will try predicting future episodes, or rather, the episode 100 of this podcast, in which I bet we will read something by Darnell, as he has recently published a short tale, and he wants to do more things soon. That's right, I'm working on a tale series. I've talked to Tan a bit about it. I'm really excited for it.
Episode 100,
but
we're going to be reading Darnell's 001 proposed. No, we're not.
No. I have two main concerns with my tale series. One is that it's going to be over the course of 3 tales, and I feel like people might not understand what I'm going for until all 3 are out. But my other is that the more I plan it, the longer they're going to come out, which makes me feel like people aren't going to want to read it, which I understand because I also hate long articles. But I'm very excited for it. I did write a short comedy tale recently. Cryptocurrency and its consequences. Tan helped crit for it, so thank you, Tan.
No problem.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Sorry, a German gift just popped up on my feed and I was looking at it.
You're on Twitter? I'm reading the comments and you're on Twitter?
Yes.
I can't believe this. Fish Sticker says, no! Tanhoney's dead!
Thank you. Some concern. No one else cared. No one else gave a shit.
Yeah, no one else gave a shit. A
After
bush
all
from the island of Borneo...
fucks.
A bush from the island of Borneo says, SD Lock. I also know them because they wrote 3280 when water breaks. Wait, what? Is that actually what it's called? Because that'd be so funny if that's like the lock continuum. Just when X breaks. The new format. Also, Tan, are you ever going to read your 001 proposals? They're amazing. Your first proposal is one of my favorite 001s. I'm curious as well, because I know, didn't you... I don't know if you created it, but I know you did something about, like, the Black Moon Howls or something.
Yeah. That was the second one.
And everyone talks about it constantly. Or they did, anyway, when we started the podcast. Not really anymore. I also heard... I never got an answer from you in DMs, unless I've forgotten I'm mentally insane. But someone was, like, describing in, like a short-term way a lot of the SCPs you wrote, and I recognize most of them, but they mentioned you wrote a Pokemon SCP. Is that true?
I did.
Can we read that?
Sure.
Not now, obviously. We're ending the podcast, but put it on the docket. I know. So we have some guests for the next few episodes. I know there's other people that want on. There's other stuff in the works, but in the nebulous future, I would like to read that as well as your 001s. How long are your 001s, by the way?
Are your bindings comfortable?
Oh, damn, beefy. Should we get a? Well, I was gonna say should we get a guest on for them, but it's kind of weird to have a guest and be like, we're reading Tanhoney's articles today. We get on someone like super famous, like a real author from the world, and we're like, sit down. We're not here to interview you about your New York bestseller. We're here to read Tanhoney's internet fan fiction. Stephen King. AnAnomalousWriter says, the day has been broken. Tanhoney is deceased. What an episode. P.S. Suggestions 6424 6670 6001 smile. And then, somehow beating Anomalous, JTKC writes, it is me again, early smile. I am like the sun, I rise again. Ah, nice, you guys have finally done the one about the human suit, very epic. Since today is an 001 episode, I'll recommend Hippo's proposal featuring Pepper's ghost. A good boy. Very bizarre and very interesting. I'd love to read more Hippo stuff. That would be really cool. Also, I just realized... See, that's the thing. Now I know too much about the wiki. Like, I used to just be fresh-eyed, but now there's, like, too much shit I want to read, and I know we don't have time to read it. It's like the pain of knowing, like, being ahead on aetherial space. The curse of knowledge. It was better when I was ignorant, because then I was just happy with whatever you gave me, and now I'm like, oh, I want to do this, but I want to do this. Also, I just realized Rounderhouse released a new 001 proposal, and it's looking pretty good. Anyways, cheer, guys. Have a good one. Oh, that's kind of cute, like a little greeting at the end. Thank you. Have a good one, JT. Yeah, smile.
You're the only good viewer.
All right. Well, we did it. I have one more day of work tonight, Tan, and then I'm free from my job, and I won't have one till like January, so I'll have some more free time to record, hopefully, and then we can get back to Your Turn to Die. I know people have been waiting a while for that.
It has been painful to get some recording time together for that.
And none of it is Tan's fault. It is all completely my fault. I have, like, over a dozen weeks of like online courses I've been trying to crash through while working and doing our other stuff. But once I'm out of this job and once I get this online stuff done over the next week or so, we should be back on track.
Hell yeah. And all your favourites will return. So, and Sarah, and Hallucination. It's a different character.
Hallucination Joe. I will say a couple of things. One, I know I mentioned it, and I know normally we don't spoil, but we do have at least 2 guests for the next episodes, maybe more, so you may be seeing a lot of guests for a while, so get hyped on that. I'll also say, I know I plug it all the time, but seriously, you really should be reading Aetheral Space right now. As of this recording, an arc just ended, and I'm a couple chapters ahead, so by the time this comes out, there will be like 2 of the new arc, but it's a good time to jump in and start reading.
So if my calculations are correct, this is coming out on a Saturday, so 6.1 should be out by the time that this episode's
out. Yeah, with 6.2 out the day after, indeed. So yes, it's a good series. I know we say it a lot. I know we want to plug it, obviously, because we want Tan's stuff to blow up. But seriously, if you like young adult fiction at all, I promise you'll like it. And it only gets better over time. Like, it's not bad to start, but it just keeps improving, and you can tell. And I just can't recommend it enough. Outside of, plugging for Tan or whatever, I actually think about Aetheral Space all the time, and I'm so loath that I have so few people to talk about it with. We need more Aetheral Space fans in this world. It needs to blow up, guys. It needs to be the new internet fandom. Yeah, more Dragon Slayers. I need to see shit about it on Twitter. About how it's a hidden gem. Come on, lol.
I want call-out posts for Dragon being a toxic guy.
Yeah. I think it's problematic that there's an organization called the Supremacy, even though they're the villains in Aetheral Space, and I think you should delete the whole series, Smile.
I have to.
You do. Alright, but is there anything else you want to say or plug, Tan? I feel like I've been hogging the end of this episode.
Read Aetheral Space, read Darnell's new tale, the cryptocurrency one, I forget the title.
Cryptocurrency and its consequences, yes.
Yeah. Read that. Read my SCPs, listen to the podcast. Go on Twitter, tweet at Tanhany, and just your favorite food.
I only have one regret with this episode, and it's that I didn't think to try and get Boris on for it, because that would have been so good to wrap around. Finally, is it all you craved? Boris, I want to see you comment on this one. If no other episode ever again, at least this one. I want to know if we lived up to your expectations. And how long was the wait worth it? Alright. Oh yeah, and again, as a reminder, no password, but this week, you see a healthy young female. How do you open? Yeah, that's for your comments.
That's the new password system.
Yeah, you have to tell us. You have to answer our questions.
With a new female every episode, you must tell us your strategy.
No, we will not always do how do you open, but I do like the idea of doing it like Aetheral Space, where we have a question for the viewers. I feel like it's more interactive.
Yeah, people are more likely to actually answer the fucking questions of this.
Yeah, instead of just posting a password. So yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.